I guess 2 shitty movies makes a legacy. We watch Tron Legacy. We are in defense of bad movies. Hey guys!
Hey!
Welcome to yet another episode of In Defense of Bad Movies. We keep making these things.
You do.
Yes.
Because you guys keep listening.
The demands are insane.
Yeah,
I feel like there'd be riots if we did not continue to make them.
I agree.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, you guys probably know, but I'm Sam Bowen, the host of the show. To my left is Lauren Bowen.
Hello, everyone.
To her left is Laura King.
Hi.
And Skyping in with us is Bobby Mattern.
Hello.
Actually, he's to the left of
No, he's
Lauren.
actually, he's in the video game right now. He's
In the video game.
He's in,
on the grid. Thank you.
he's in the Matrix?
Yeah, he's in the Matrix. That
Is
we're
it
watching
even a
right
video
now.
game anymore? I feel like we've
Is it even a
exceeded...
song?
Is it even a song?
Yeah, is it a video game?
I don't know what it is. Is it a computer game? Something?
What, The Grid?
It's gone beyond that.
Well, before we get into these questions, we should... Laura, you know a lot about this movie, having watched it.
Actually, I watched both the movies because I was told that if I wanted to understand and to be in on the discussion or / narrative of this podcast about Tron Legacy, I would have to watch Tron to fully appreciate Tron Legacy.
You did? I'm so jealous.
I tried to manipulate Laura into watching Tron so I could have someone to watch it with. And then she watched half of it without me. So.
Aww. I'd watch it with you, Bobby, because there were so many things in the movie that were just like subtle, pointless nods to it that were clearly infuriating.
Lauren,
like,
I think
references.
there are fewer than you would think.
No, there are lots.
I'm pretty sure that even if you watched the first movie, you still wouldn't get things from the second movie.
Oh, absolutely.
So you didn't miss out on anything. They're pretty two standalone movies.
For sure.
There's a lot to sink your teeth into. It's like a kind of movie that requires repeated viewings to really understand and absorb everything.
Is that what it requires?
So, Bobby,
I understand if it was like too much for one viewing,
yeah.
that you just weren't able to get everything.
So before we get into the discussion fully, Laura, we're only going to ask you to synopsisize one of the movies, Tron Legacy,
Okay.
which is a movie Bobby brought to us to defend.
You're welcome, everyone.
So how long should we give her, Lauren? You're on the clock.
It needs like an
You're on the-
hour
you're on
to
the ones and
explain
twos.
this right?
Yeah.
15
Was it
seconds.
like hours on the grid or just seconds in real life?
Okay, so 15
true.
seconds.
Which is like hours. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. So Garrett Hedlund's character gets gets transferred into this world, the Grid, which is kind of like a video game / computer game, whatever other world. And, he's trying to fight the bad guy, who's
yes,
Jeff Bridges. The bad Jeff Bridges. Versus the good one, his dad, so.
Well,
I didn't get to half the things.
apt. That was excellent.
It's fairly accurate though. I mean, it's true. And it's not, was just...
What's his name? Sam?
Sam's our main
Okay.
character.
It's a forgettable name.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
It's a super strong
Kind of
name.
like flimsy.
I mean, like
Sam.
when I heard the name, I'm like, I'm totally on board with this movie, guys.
generic. It's
I'm like,
kinda-
this guy is awesome.
That guy doesn't get dates. His name
This
like
guy gets it.
that. Good name, bro.
Yeah. So yeah. So Bobby, what do you like about this movie? What do you like about this movie?
Yeah, let's start a new segment where where the person who's defending the movie gets about 2 minutes to tell everyone why they like the movie.
So I'm not gonna lie. This is one of those ones where when I was rewatching it, I'm like, oh, this movie's stupider than I remembered it. But like that being said, I think this movie's a lot of fun, man. I like the way the grid looks. I like the feel and the aesthetics of this movie, and I think all the stuff that happens on the grid is fun when they're not like talking about the plot. And I think I love Daft Punk's score for the movie. I think is great. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's a fun movie, and even when I had it on today and was rewatching the last half of it, I still thought it was fun. I still had fun watching
You think it looks cool?
Yeah, I do think it looks cool.
You like that young Jeff Bridges? You think that young Jeff Bridges looks real good?
Yeah, why did they just put
amazing.
video game cutscenes?
This is like one of those movies that would totally benefit from a special edition if anyone ever wanted to put money into this movie ever again, and I'm guessing no one will ever want to put any more money into this movie.
But in 2010, were facial effects really that bad? I feel like
They were
it came from...
I mean, obviously
still
they weren't, because
disguise
this
it
was an
well.
expensive movie.
Yeah,
Super expensive.
Do you know how
And
much
it's
this
Disney.
movie costs?
Disney owns Marvel, and
somewhere.
we've two of the last few Marvel movies, Ant-Man and Civil War, did the same thing, and it looked
totally
very
strong.
convincing.
Do you think in 6 years it'll look bad? The Marvel ones.
I like the Civil War one looked kind of shaky to me a little bit, even though I thought it looked good. So I imagine in 6 years we'll have better stuff and it'll look weird.
That one would have an excuse, but arguably this one would have an excuse too, because it was a simulation thing that...
Oof, if only they had
But
stopped
the other
there.
two actors,
I feel like the solution to it, and it was really frustrating that if our argument that Clue, the digital avatar that Jeff Bridges made of himself, looked that bad, make everyone in Tron Land be like some sort of digital rendering.
But that would be so expensive.
Would it though? Like compared to
Honestly,
all the
I
other stuff?
think it would be a little frustrating to watch too.
Maybe.
If
It
everyone,
would be like watching video game cutscenes.
Just looking at terrible young Jeff Bridges where like the mouth didn't sync up right and it took me out so much.
Give him just have him like in makeup or something. I don't know. Just like you could explain that was him from the first movie or his avatar or whatever, his self from the grid.
It's really confusing. So there is Clue in the first movie, who is like this program he's using to hack
in England
to hack into the Master Control program in the first Tron. But then this movie shows him. I totally didn't remember this. This movie shows Flynn creating Clue, and it definitely takes place after the first movie.
And it was digitally rendered young Jeff Bridges creating digital young Clue. Couldn't tell who was who.
Listen, they obviously were hoping that effect looked a lot better than it did.
Yeah.
And they really,
they misjudged. They were off.
Oh, it's just so
but
like...
Clue, honestly, Clue doesn't bug me as much when he's on the grid. Like, he looks, for the most part, he doesn't look totally out of place on the grid, I think. Or maybe it's just because I'm used to him at that point. It's when they show him, like...
speechifying. And...
yeah, when they do, like, the news thing and they show him at the podium. And then, like, when they finally do the reveal and show his face, which is supposed to be an oh shit moment, I think. When they show him in Sam's bedroom at the beginning. It looks horrifying. Like, it looks something out of a horror movie.
They pause and they don't show his face right away, and then they kind of pull the camera back, and then it's like a big reveal moment, and then you're like, what the hell is this?
Have you guys seen
It's weird.
So this movie started...
I think if they were more confident in the fact that, like, oh yeah, this is our digital rendering of young Jeff Bridges, then that would be fine.
The concept movie... like, have you seen, like... They tested the waters for this movie with a concept trailer that they premiered at Comic-Con, I think in like 2008. Mm-hmm. And there was a reveal of young Jeff Bridges, but the people on the grid look different to kind of look more consistent, like you were saying. And it looked more like everyone, the two characters in it were wearing helmets, and it looked more video screeny. Like, it didn't look like they were going for, like people inside the masks. It looked more like they were video screens to kind of, which I don't know if that, I watched that concept trailer again today and it looked kind of weird, but it definitely looked more consistent. I don't know. Okay.
And I feel like, I agree with that. Just like something to make all the digital people in the world like slightly non-realistic. Like that would make it easier to accept.
Did they do just like an image of his face and have it completely in the computer, or was it a mocap thing?
It was a mocap.
It was mocap.
Because then how did it not match so? It so didn't match.
They had him like in a helmet with lots of different like cameras running in the helmet.
We just weren't there yet.
Did they have like 3 dots on his mouth? Because it looked fucking cat.
But we weren't there yet.
She's so
like
stubborn.
Gollum existed, 8 years before this. Like, how were we not there yet? And I know it's still sort of an uncanny valley world, but like motion capture has been achieved to much better success. And we all know how like half-assed Disney does everything. It doesn't feel like it's excusable for them.
I was going to say it's different because Gollum isn't a human
Right.
character, but still his mouth didn't look
the
like
sink and
that.
everything looks natural.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a really good
Should
point.
have called Weta.
Or, like, waited a few more years. Or they can clearly do it
No,
now.
the demand was then for the
Or does-
Tron.
Or
sequel.
maybe you know, it works now in the Marvel movies because after Tron Legacy came out, they're like, what the fuck is this? No, we gotta, like, figure out how to do this for real.
Maybe Jeff Bridges doesn't act as well with the motion capture.
His mouth goes out of sync.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, what are you
I
doing?
mean, I'm mostly joking, but if you put things on your mouth, it might affect.
You just start really articulating the way
Yeah.
you talk.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. When you're hyper aware of stuff, like when you get on stage and you don't know what to do with your hands.
But, yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
the
like
mocap
that.
version
And you
of
need
that.
what's his name, the Gollum guy.
Andy Serkis,
Andy
who's a
Serkis.
pro.
Yeah, but that's why he's like, we take for granted that like he's amazing, but it's like, no, really. He's got that shit on his mouth and he still has to talk like that. He's amazing. I don't know. So what do we have to say? We've covered
Oh, can we start with how this plot makes no sense at all?
So, yeah, we're going to get
Okay.
into, like, the many, many questions we have about
Yeah, can we?
There's a certain level.
Well, wait. Let's back up.
Okay.
Let's back up to give a quick synopsis of our synopsis. So,
a more than 15 seconds.
yeah, more than 15-second synopsis. Anyone can chirp in. So Sam,
That's me.
yeah, Sam over here. No. Sam in the movie. So it opens up and he's a young kid, and Jeff Bridges, not Clue. Clue is his digital world person that he created.
His digital
Just
world
younger.
person.
younger Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
So Jeff Bridges is Sam's dad, and he disappears when Sam is younger. And so Sam kind of goes in his like weird angsty mood thing until he's Garrett Hedlund, and then the next thing you see, Garrett Hedlund is breaking into his dad's company, Incom, which is now kind of up for everyone. Killian Murphy is running it. If you didn't know who Killian Murphy is,
And he's not really running it. He's just sort of like one of the controlling boffins.
And it's weird because he's the son of
he's a
the
reference
villain
of
from
the
the first Tron.
Oh, really?
Who gets exposed for fraud in the first Tron. And so it's weird that they've like rewritten history to where Dillinger from Tron 1 is like this hero who really helped out Incom.
Were they planning a series of movies?
Yeah, according to, the IMDb trivia, which is unimpeachable, we all know,
Yeah,
of course,
of course.
that it was sort of supposed to be a wink back to the series and suggesting that they could then have a sequel from there.
Okay, because you don't just Killing Murphy's.
Oh, do you think
You'd
Murphy?
want him more and more than just
Yeah.
that little stupid. So that makes sense.
At this
Okay.
point.
Okay, continue.
anyway, so you have him breaking in, and
He's not even credited, right? I think in this movie.
It's an uncredited appearance because
wow.
it's so terrible.
Is that what it
And-
is? He LB'd it?
anyway, he goes back to his dad's arcade, Flynn's arcade, and
You're missing the part where he like
There's
jumps
a lot of things.
off the tower of Encom,
When he's
doesn't-
Batman.
encounters the world's bravest
becomes
security
Batman.
guard.
okay, yeah, right now, but that doesn't make any sense to the plot. We're not talking about that. The main idea is that he breaks in because to Incom, and he's kind of like, what the hell, like, why I don't want this money,
But so like
Honestly-
Jeff Bridges after 1982 he falls into the Tron video game, builds like the Encom empire and becomes super wealthy running
Right, after-
this digital empire.
yes, uh-huh.
He
Yes.
is also mysteriously referencing something that he's building, like working on the grid, making something amazing that he's going to show Sam someday.
Scientific breakthroughs
And then
going to change everything.
Disappears mysteriously. We see lots of like news footage of people like really laboring on this poor orphan child that's left behind, like unnecessarily talking about poor Sam. What's Sam gonna do? He should just kill himself, essentially. And then so in the
Because
future,
that's what you go to when some big CEO dies. You're like, what's going on with his
think about
son?
his child.
Yeah.
And then so in the future he's breaking in because like now the company's run by greedy people and Sam's shirking his responsibilities.
Except for
Tron.
his
boss.
buddy Alan Bradley. And
yeah.
And then, so they're they're just about to premiere some great program that's gonna make them all wealthy, and he sneaks in and like leaks it on the web so it's free to everyone because he's incorrigible and
an
Robin
anarchist.
Hood figure.
Yeah.
And Killing Murphy's reaction to that is so weird. Like he's just like it's like he starts to give a bigger speech and then just walks away right after he sets it up.
Well, it
Maybe
seems
he had
like
a big
that
speech.
scene was longer, and they cut it So it's like
that makes sense because they realized this is not going to affect the movie.
Yeah, because I mean that
let's
has
get
no
into the digital world as soon as possible.
Because his tone does feel like I can see that winking at the sequel because he feels real like secretly evil. Like look at that guy, he's hiding something.
It feels like his Batman role a little bit.
Yeah, he's like no big deal.
The Scarecrow.
We'll just say it was a gift.
That's interesting because Bruce Boxleitner played the Scarecrow in Scarecrow and Mrs. King. See, the worlds just connect and tie together.
Wait, is that true?
Yeah.
Also, what's a Scarecrow and Mrs. King?
Don't worry about it. You're too young.
Like a scarecrow falls in love with a lady.
It's a TV show.
And her name is Mrs. Crow.
It's a TV show with a sexy Kate Jackson.
Oh, all right.
You keep talking. I'm gonna research this.
Yeah.
And
so anyway, so he with Bruce Boxleiter, Alan Bradley, who is Tron, his alter ego
who's apparently a
is
person.
Tron, and
just that makes me feel like I should have
you
watched
guys,
all the Tron.
We're gonna say alter ego for their video game world.
Tron's not a person; he's a security program.
But he was built on Bruce
But he was
Boxleitner.
based on Bruce Boxleitner.
Alan Bradley was the creator of Tron.
Yeah, so he looks like
and
Alan
he never
Bradley.
took his helmet off because they didn't want to waste his technology on young Bruce Boxleitner because who gives a fuck?
They do though at one point. A couple
No,
points.
they don't.
Yeah, they do. You see Tron's
In
face.
the grid?
Yeah.
Well, like in a flashback.
Yeah.
And it's very
that's
far
true.
away in fog.
It's because they we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's because they were really trying to hold a twist for the end.
And that was the
Who
greatest
is this
twist.
Rinsler guy?
How? I didn't even track Rinsler guy until the very end of the movie.
Well,
Like,
and then
Rinsler. Oh no, it's Tron. Like, wait, what? Was he a person we were supposed to be aware of?
Yeah, like who the hell is Tron? Oh, by the way, why is his name Tron when it doesn't really have anything to do with Tron? I don't know, because it doesn't really matter because Tron's so unimportant.
Well, it's Tron Legacy, so
It's
Well,
his legacy.
okay, but not really.
it's like a Super
because-
Mario Brothers sequel. That
But
didn't
Tron's
have
the name of
anything
the
to do with Mario.
game, and the
Tron is the. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we go.
I should have watched the film.
Tron in the original film Tron. This is the background leading up to this movie. Tron in the original film Tron was a security program developed by Alan Bradley. And when Jeff Bridges gets sucked into the master control or into the grid, we'll get there. Lauren. When he gets sucked into the program in the first one, he and Tron fight their way and defeat the master control program. And then
I thought Tron was
based
the master
on
control
his
program.
experiences.
Wait, Tron's the master control program.
No.
Program.
No, Master Control Program's the villain of the first film.
Okay.
But
Tron's
based on his experiences, this is what I'm getting from the film. I think this is what they're going for. Based on his experiences in the first film, Kevin Flynn then makes the video game Tron that we all know in the real world.
and love.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
so he wasn't sucked into a video game in reality?
He was sucked into
This computer program.
yeah. Actually, I think he was sucked into Space Paranoids, which is another video game that he created
Oh,
in the
that's what
first
it
one.
was in the first.
Yeah, but
So he's in the video game.
he's in the video game in the first movie.
And the first movie is just called Tron because there's just a rando dude who's not the star called Tron.
Tron is kind of he's like the hero of the first movie,
Okay.
right? Tron's like the
I don't know. It's kind of like I would say Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges is
Flynn
definitely
is-
the main character, but he's like totally incompetent in the
He's like
first
our
one.
entry
I think that
And he's
this
tagging
movie
along with
suffers
Tron.
from deciding like who is the main person and who is not. Like I don't know if you can. I don't know. I think because
the first one, you're definitely following Kevin Flynn while he and Tron are fighting their way to the Master Control Program. This one, I think you're following Sam, and then like Cora, I guess, would be the Tron character in this one, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm saying like
I don't know.
I think Cora would be the equivalent of Tron in this movie.
Why does Jeff Bridges have the laser that sucks you into the grid in the basement of his arcade?
Because that's where he's been experimenting and going back to
You mean the
grid.
Dalek?
Yeah, the Dalek. The spooky Dalek that's sneaking up behind Sam.
well, and no one notices it, or like the noise that it makes. It's like no one seems to give
He's
a
very silent when like classic
crap,
laser
Which would
firing up
make
is happening.
sense if there was a fully functional arcade behind you, but when in this silent
Yeah, exactly.
house, the silent building. Yeah.
Because Bruce Boxleitner got a page.
Mm-hmm.
From it all hinges on dead technology.
Yes.
He got a page from Jeff Bridges. How did that work?
People weren't getting pages in
How did the
2010
page
either.
happen?
How did the page happen?
That
like on
wasn't
a
explored.
who sent the page?
Yeah.
That was Clue, wasn't it?
Clue sent the page.
Clue sent the page.
Yes.
How does Clue have access to pagers? How does he have...
Just go with it.
This is
Just
a
go with
plot
that.
hole. Because how does a digital avatar person page someone in the real world.
How can he escape the bounds of the grid to get into our world?
Well,
This
all the
is a really
computers
good
are
question.
connected to each other. That's an idea that Jeff Bridges had in 1985.
That's
But it's
right.
like, so what? You had the fucking idea.
He
Who
had the idea
cares?
for
You have to
Wi-Fi.
come up with the Wi-Fi.
that's
You still have to make the technology or something.
If
He
he hadn't
would
had
have,
kids, he
man.
could
If
have.
he
you know
wasn't
what?
stuck on the
This-
grid.
I've got an idea to fly into Jupiter.
This
When
would
it
be a
happens,
good
totally
cautionary
don't do it.
tale if it made any sense. But it doesn't. So it's not a cautionary tale.
Of all the plot holes, I'm willing to go with, like, Clue hacked into shit to send a
I'm fine with that. Who cares?
page. There are so many other,
Sure, why
like, big
not?
plot holes.
So Jeff Bridges disappears.
Uh-huh.
Is it that what we saw, like, he was taking a stroll in Grid one day and Clue rebels and, like, there's a coup. There's a Clue coup.
Clue coup.
Clue coup. And so, like, since then, he's been trapped in the grid for some reason.
He's trapped
Guys,
in the grid.
This movie's Clue.
He's trapped in the grid because Clue has the portal locked down.
Okay.
And if he gets near the portal and Clue gets a hold of his disc,
You can
'Cause, like-
unleash it in the real world.
Because the
right?
portal only stays open for a short period of time. Which is a terrible design flaw, Jeff Bridges, in your made-up batshit world.
and you can only open the portal with
The power of love.
with the power of love. No, with the master disc, which
Which is Jeff Bridges' disc.
his disc. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is where, like, I'm willing to buy into that, and then the threat of, like, Clue and his minions get out of the portal. That's where the movie starts to fall apart a little bit.
But if that were the plan, like, if that were the threat that we focused on, like, okay, that's cool, that's a scary, like, if you could give us stakes as to, like, because in our world, they're unstoppable, like,
Yeah.
that would even help even more.
The movie stops
But it
just
has-
short of giving you stakes. It's just like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
we'll get out and bad
We-
stuff happens.
We're going to throw it in at just the very end.
Spoiler alert, Cora does get out, and she's just a person.
Well, she's different because
She's
she's...
an ISO.
Ugh.
We've not gotten there.
Oh, I want to save that. I still want to figure out. Okay, so Jeff Bridges was working on Grid, building
Grid.
a digital world. What was his intent for building this world?
I think he was just trying to explore it and see what
But he
could
had
do.
this whole like
He-
discussion of like
well-
trying to build perfection, trying to like solve society's ills in this world.
Yeah.
Like, what was his intent?
I don't think Bobby knows
Like,
the answer.
But I
didn't have
think,
real
but it's
motivation.
akin to just research, right? At that point, that's my guess.
Like if it was just I'm a computer douchebag, like seeing how far I can go on, you know, coulda not shoulda, like just I'm building a world and it's like cool and let's see what happens. But there's points that I couldn't track where they're trying to give him lofty ambitions for creating the world. Like and that's sort of what leads to the coup, that he's like trying to create perfection for something. And I didn't really follow.
But I
Why?
think, I don't, yeah, the movie doesn't define his motivations very well. But, I mean, I really think it's just akin to like him researching and seeing what, if anything, can pop up. On the grid and like what kind of real world applications they might have.
Okay,
for
so
that.
maybe
fair.
like
It's
I'm
the
gonna make
final-
society in miniature
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's the final frontier. You got to explore it
Okay.
and try to perfect it.
And then there are ISOs suddenly?
That are
Yeah,
gonna,
what are ISOs,
What are
Bobby?
ISOs, Bobby?
they're isomorphic algorithms and they're the perfect being and they just came into being and they're gonna change science as we know it.
Why?
What?
Fucking know.
Bobby, why?
God, just go with it.
What's an
there might be one too
isomorphic?
many just go with it.
Why would
If
Clue
you
want
look
to
in
kill them?
if you look into their code, there's just like everything we know about science
Bobby,
is
It's like
How
42.
a
can
moot point.
ISOs live in the real world outside of the grid?
You can't see it, but like Laura has her arm on Bobby's shoulder. She really wants to get to the bottom of this
For this one, I'm willing to take the leap
existential thing. for
that
her.
the laser / portal, like whatever can convert Sam into
the grid.
digital
We'll go the other way.
reads, who put him in the grid. Let's pretend it can go the other way. Like, that part I could, sure.
Mm-hmm.
For like movie fantasy, that I can accept because
Yes.
they laid enough groundwork for it. What's an ISO?
They look like Olivia Wilde.
Oh,
Nice.
okay,
I like
nice.
that.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
They've got those glowing tattoo things on their arms.
They're beings that just
Spontaneously appeared
generated.
on the grid.
And they're perfect.
So this is like a thing that
Why are they perfect?
because Jeff Bridges says it at one point
And
that they're
they're
perfect.
good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
bizarre.
They're good people. Good programs.
I don't know if they're good people, but they're like a scientific miracle.
How?
Wouldn't
And
it be
why?
better just to say that this is we've created life form, so because of that it's precious? Wouldn't that be so much easier?
That would be neat. Like, oh my gosh, what an unexpected
Yeah.
result of this, again, machine. Like, it's not like they're creating Science World. Like, it's ones and zeros. So somehow these spontaneous ones and zeros are going to solve everything. Did not make sense.
Yeah, that's... yeah, you're adding these huge stakes that I don't think are necessary.
And yeah, if it were just the, like, they're new and we should protect them.
The implication isn't, this is what I'm getting. I get that the groundwork is not there, but the ISOs aren't necessarily like ones and zeros, and that's why it's freaking him out. They're not normal programs. They're like a sentient life form that's just popped up out of nowhere on the grid.
Are they biological?
I don't know. I don't fucking know, guys. I can't do it. I like this is one where I'm like, you're right. This is a really ill-explained.
Too hard. They were getting too ambitious with this. Like, if it was strictly like, they're new and this is exciting and unpredictable.
And you know what? Like, I'm getting ahead of myself segment-wise. You know how you fix that is you show Kevin trying to bring a normal program from the grid out into the real world, show what went wrong, what goes wrong or something, and then you show him trying to bring an ISO into the real world, and then like you can introduce like stakes, you can introduce like, oh, this is why they're important in the real world, you know, like these are the kind of like medical things we can learn from them. Instead of just saying like, yeah, they'll change science, period. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, guys, you know who
let's see more
movie?
Excite-Bike stuff.
The people who write Once Upon a Time. Does that make sense?
They're the same people?
Yeah, that's why it sucks.
Well, then we should have had a lot more flashbacks than we did.
They don't have original ideas. They just take former Disney properties.
Well, I mean, I get Once Upon a Time is like a niche for certain people. I used to watch it, and then it got too convoluted for me, and there was always a problem, and I couldn't keep up with all the problems. So I think I stopped at like season 2, maybe beginning of season 3. But at that point, I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Also, it was never good. I had fun for a little while, but it was never good.
It was just like, I don't know, there's something that they just don't follow through a story. Like, they don't explain enough, but it's not even like, you don't want to over-explain something, you want to just write where people aren't going to be questioning.
I'll one up that. They were also writers on Lost. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
And so it's the like, here's a mystery, here's the bare bones, like, this is why? What? No.
Just shut up and go with it.
Okay, well, how about this long explanation? Like, no, too much the other way. And the ISIS are exactly that.
Yeah.
This movie has a real, I mean, in spite of leaving so much unexplained, this movie has a real problem with telling everything and not showing anything.
Oh, yeah.
This movie's also 2 hours and 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's
and they still couldn't explain things well.
No, it's really long.
There's
I
lots
think
of
you
talking.
could cut out the whole beginning part. Like, I don't think you need to see a young Sam. I think you could, like, tell it all.
Agree.
Like,
It could have been shortened quite
You
a
know.
It could have been shortened. I was still kind of on Sam's side then. Like, I appreciate we want you to like this person.
We're having
Garrett Hedlund was so bad as Sam.
Oh, he was bad. But, like, in the first part, I'm like, okay, who's this guy? Like, I sort of was willing to take the journey with him, and then, yeah, it just disintegrated.
And as hard as we're having, like, summarizing this movie, when you break down the things that happen in this movie, it's like Sam hacks into NCOM, Sam goes onto the grid, Sam makes it to his dad's house, they pay a visit to Michael Sheen, they take a very long plane ride to the portal, and then like Sam and Cora go into the portal. Like, that's it. That's everything that happens in the movie.
You think some of the story would be like, get into that portal. Like, this is the most, we're going to do a full-on sprint to the portal, and there's going to be adventures and obstacles. Like, no, we're just going to get a boat in, like, the last 5 minutes. There's going to be a chase.
And then, like, meeting some interesting characters would be something. And you did meet, like, I don't know.
But more so. And more, like, the programs and the people in this world.
Yeah.
Like, I agree that knowing the world a little bit more could have been fun, because we meet Michael Sheen, and thank goodness that we do, because he's my favorite. Anyway, but like, everyone in the world is real ride-offable, and so Sam can kill them with abandon because they just break down into cubes, like in Crossy Road, and it's like there's no consequence or care for anyone.
Because those things are like lives too,
They're
right?
lives too. They feel like
digital lives
in the
matter.
first movie, they do that a lot.
Do
with
they?
Because
like maybe we're just high on Westworld right now, but like those are beings as well.
Are you saying like the programs are valued more as like people in the first one, or are you saying that they're just killed with reckless abandonment?
They're killed with reckless abandonment in the first one.
Because I was thinking about the first one, and I mean, like, I like Tron Legacy better than Tron, which Laura will disagree with me on. even though she doesn't like either of them. But I actually think the first one did kind of introduce the programs more as more of a human thing. Like
That's why I liked
I
it
remember
better.
that. Yeah. And there was like jailing them and
and Kevin spends a good first part of the first movie with Tron and another program, and that other program gets killed, and it's kind of a sad moment. But
And like that would be neat. And he, shows us some people like in the very beginning when he's picked up by the Daft Punk cops, and like there's a bunch of people in the transport with him, and they're very scared, and like these are clearly beings with experience. It would be nice to care for them as well. But nope, at the end we're just gonna wipe them all out.
And then he gets randomly selected for Disc Wars. I don't know why I'm backing up this far, but
That was so weird. It was like a good 10 minutes of just like boring, like, let's just
my God.
So yeah, he fights a few people, and then he fights Tron at the end, right?
no, he fights
Rings or Tron.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And then he says, like, you gotta be kidding me. When he fights
But you
Tron,
don't know it's Tron.
was in no way different from anywhere else. Why is he gotta be...
Yeah,
why is
I don't know why
he has two frisbees.
No, I thought that was another guy
Is
had
that
two
the
frisbees.
symbol?
Rinsler had two. Rinsler had two.
Is it?
Do we
Okay.
understand Tron to have two frisbees? Is that special to him?
No.
Does he have double
Yeah.
the memory?
No, in this movie, yeah, he definitely fights with two.
And
gloves.
is it-
no, he
But-
takes a frisbee from someone else.
But it's not a wink to the first one.
No,
No, not at all. This is just random.
This is another thing where we're supposed to try and understand who Rinsler is, and he's completely undistinguishable from the others, except maybe the two frisbees. But
the music changes, and this
He looks
person's
different.
like,
He's way more acrobatic. And
they
he fights with
presented
two
him like a big
frisbees.
boss, and like, okay, so like this guy's cool, but then completely lost track of him. So when he
And
came
he
back
still
later,
defeats him fairly easily.
It's weird. The first time I watched this, like Rinsler did stand out to me as the second in command, like the Darth Maul of the.
okay.
But this time when I was watching him, like, wow, Rinsler he shows up at the beginning and then disappears till the end.
Okay, good. I'm not too crazy then. I did not track that guy even a little bit.
Well, and then when the big reveal happens that he's Tron, it's so like he's like dying, like he falls into the water, and then he's like, I value people, or whatever he says, something like that, and then he's gone, and you're like, what was the point of that reveal? I mean, that it didn't really have any relevance.
The problem was
Save
they
them in the
didn't
end.
set up Tron
Didn't
in
give him
any.
any
Yeah.
stakes.
No, and I
Were
don't
they
know.
just relying on people remembering him from the
it's
first
hard
one?
for me in this
after they made it
movie-
impossible to...
Well, they say the thing like it was his program to protect the user, and so that's why at the disc fight he doesn't kill Sam, like he recognizes him as the user, and so stops himself. And then in the end, that's his big like redemption moment. He comes back and saves them.
The intent of his arc is clear, but I don't know if the execution is anywhere near there. And I wonder if it's one of those things where a lot got cut out, which is not an excuse, but like,
There were a lot of intense rewrites of the script and stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm sure intent got lost.
Can I ask something about those discs? That's their memory?
And their weapons.
First of all, is it memory or is it hard drive? Because those are two different things.
it
How
is.
so?
I think it'd be closer to a hard drive.
Yeah, it feels like it's that.
Yeah.
Okay. But then also when regular Jeff Bridges, the good one, the Zen Master
Glenn.
Jeff Bridges, when he gets his taken away, there doesn't seem to be any, this is like, okay, I just don't have my disc now.
Well, okay. I think what the disc does is, like it records everything you do on the grid, and it gives you clearance for certain programs and things like that. So like you don't need it.
So he
your
still has
passport.
his memory.
If you don't need it on you to function, but it's like your driver's license and your weapon.
It's like
which is
losing your passport
fucking
if your
cool, but-
passport was made of like steel blades. Okay.
Which is why Cora doesn't need her specific disc in order to like leave the world or whatever, and like why no one disappears if their disc is gone.
There's a lot of red tape in this world. Like, it feels,
It's major bureaucracy.
I think the
Yeah.
movie. I think the problem I have with this movie is it's just so confusing because you have these doppelgangers and this grid. Like the first one has it too, because you have Tron and then you have Bruce Boxleiter's character in the outside world, whatever his name is.
The first one made very clear that when people make programs, like the conceit of the first one is if a programmer on the outside world creates a program, when
It
the
looks
program's
like that.
sentient form inside the computer looks like that.
But then this movie just like throws it all away, and you're like, why do these people look at this person? And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the world is not clear.
Here's a question too. Why is the what's so great about the user? Because they, like, oh, he's a user. Oh, I'll hail the user or whatever.
Well, Super's like the maker. Like, he's, you know, an outsider
Is that what it
who
is?
can
Okay.
control the world.
Because they didn't seem any better. Like,
I think this is okay. This is what I think the movie's going for. Because the first one toyed kind of with this idea that like the programs on the grid don't know if the users exist. They kind of struggle with their belief in the users.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like a very kind of blatant, you know, God kind of thing.
And then Sam could be messianic if we'd actually played with that a bit.
And I think, and I think the programs in this one, most of them acknowledge the existence of the users, but they're kind of rebelling against the users or the idea of the users. Like that idea is there.
Like the
they don't go for it. But yeah, it's
like religion today, where it's just sort of like, oh.
I think it would have been kind of cool too. Well, I don't know, maybe not. But to me, watching it, the only way I could think a user would be really better is shitty AI. Because that's the only reason, like in a real video game, that users ever win is because you're unpredictable, and I think that would have been cool to toy with in this movie to have.
Okay, I think
AI
user might be a
like
misnomer though. It's like the users are programmers. Like the idea is Flynn's a big deal because he can create and destroy their world.
But they, well,
I mean, and Flynn does have, you know, like
Well, if he can create and destroy the world, why doesn't he do it sooner?
That's a good question. Why isn't he doing things?
shit.
Like, if he can control elements as we discover he does, like...
And also toying with the idea of the ISOs that were not created by a user, that would have been interesting too. But instead this is like, no, we're just going to kill them all. Like, I would think, if anything, they would lift up the ISOs. It's like, here, we don't need the users. We can create ourselves.
Well,
rather than genocide.
Yeah. I don't know if we covered that because, like, Coup ended up killing all the ISOs. Clue had the coup, killing all the ISOs and taking control from Jeff Bridges somehow because he had been programmed to try for perfection and he saw the ISOs as imperfection somehow. Maybe just because they were unpredictable, which also... But how did he take control away from Jeff Bridges? Who, again, now that we've covered that he can control things, what happened there?
Okay.
We're all
fair enough.
Why is he living in his little, like, condo, you know, over in the mountain?
Because as soon as he steps foot on the grid, Clue will know.
How?
And can overpower him or something.
Even when he does his hand wind and, like...
Is it because of his disc? Because he could just leave the disc at home.
No, but then he can't keep track of the disc.
That's true.
And they can break into his apartment at any time.
Very easily, it turns out. He's not locking his door. You know why? Because he's a dirty hippie.
He is quite...
He is such a hippie.
Well, they break into his apartment because Sam takes his light cycle into the main part of the grid, and they are able to track the bike back to his cool little pad. Which, I mean, when you look at Sam's role in the movie, nothing Sam does is constructive.
Or interesting.
Like,
and it does get called out, too.
Legitimately does nothing.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges even says, like, basically, you're fucking all... He even says, you're messing with my Zen thing, man.
Which is the best line in the movie.
It is the best line.
Jeff Bridges only agreed to do this movie if he could have carte blanche. So, like, I'm just going to do what I want.
Yeah.
That's
He says,
cool,
I'm only playing one character, and then if you need anyone else, I'm just going to be myself. So I'm Clue, and me.
I want one of those bicycle things. I want to, like, just a stick that turns into a bicycle and, like,
That's-
takes me around.
It's fucking rad, dude.
Yeah. I mean, if we can't have
But then-
hoverboards, that's the next actually.
But then be real careful because your light trail is going to kill people. So
Which you can turn
careful
off
where
and
you're
on.
at. Can you? Yeah,
Apparently.
you can't really discover that.
What's weird? I guess if you don't want to be followed, you turn it off.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just, like, driving for fun, but if you're using it as a weapon, you want that light trail in.
Let me ask this. So, like, how long do you think that light trail stays? Is it like Spider-Man's webs where they eventually dissolve, or does it stay there until it's like some cleaning crew has to cleaning
It stays there a significant amount of time.
Yeah, it must.
But how long exactly?
How long exactly?
Yeah.
Is it just
I believe it is 67 seconds.
Okay.
I swear I thought you were going to say cycles. Because I wonder how much a cycle is.
Why is it always cycle? Why
Many
in anything
cycles ago.
sci-fi is always a cycle as a measurement of time?
Well, you can't use days because there's no sun. So
Yeah.
but what is a cycle?
By the way,
Is it just one of those bars that turn into the speed cycle?
Yeah, that's how they measure time, is how
This is
often they have to
pretty
replace their vehicles.
and by the way, his perfection land that he creates in the grid looks a mess. This place is dark and super depressing.
And
It's
it
like
rains?
an underworld movie in here.
It apparently rains
It
too.
rains,
What
but
is
there's
it
no
raining?
sunshine.
Does it rain? When does it rain?
The lady's got an umbrella.
Well, the sirens.
The-
It's just cool, man.
No, it's just cool.
She's just trying to look
It's
cool.
just, yeah,
She's just a
it's
fucking
like,
hipster.
it's like cool,
No,
yeah.
there's droplets on the umbrella.
Oh, you know what? When he's driving his light cycle into the city, too, there's moisture on his
There's
windshield.
atmosphere. There's atmosphere and then there's altitude. Because the planes are going straight up at some point where they stall. So there's got to be altitude has got to be affecting that. So why would there be
God damn
altitude
it.
in this world?
You know,
Is there
just
gravity?
let that
There
one go,
must be.
okay?
There's got to be gravity, yeah. Although Clue is pretty good at defying gravity when it makes that big jump at the end.
Clue just never dies.
The 11 o'clock hour when he starts flying and all the Oz people are
This is
all
an
like,
honest question, and I don't know why I'm asking you this, because this is what you're supposed to ask me. Who makes the gap in the bridge at the end? Is that Clue, or is that
I
Kevin?
would assume Clue because that served his purposes, but it could have been Kevin, that's true.
How does Kevin do his stomping thing that sends a tidal wave of energy out and then sucks back Clue back to him?
Yeah, he's reabsorbing him.
Why didn't he do that before?
Yeah.
Because
I
it
was
kills
just
him.
Why didn't he do that before?
Because it kills
Because
Clue.
he didn't want to kill himself.
Well, he's a terrible person.
Yeah, well,
All these
yeah.
people are being tormented. All these programs he doesn't give a crap about are being tormented in
He
his
totally
world.
doesn't get a crap out of it.
Lauren, it's hard to take your own
He's
life.
a dirty hippie. I know, but was he selfless at all in the first movie? Was he at all of
No,
the
he's learning how to take himself out of the equation.
Not really.
All right. Well, if that were the journey, that'd be fun. If we saw him being a coward a little bit, why don't you go challenge him, Dad? 'Cause I would die and I'm sad. That could be a thing we could talk about, and then it's a big deal when he does sacrifice
Can they
himself.
perform it just like that?
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing that?
It'd
Why
be
don't you
less
do that?
annoying.
God, I know. I
Dad, stop it.
You know what my favorite part of this movie was? So they're in the bar scene with Michael Sheen. And,
Oh, not just Michael Sheen.
David
No.
Bowie.
And then the Firefly creatures come down to attack, and then Daft Punk look at each other like, fight music? Fight music. And then
It's so
That
rad.
was fun. And if that were the movie, that'd be great. If we had fun in this world, if there were jokes and delight, if every day was Michael Sheen Day, I'd have an amazing time. Guys, because Michael Sheen is the greatest.
He was fun.
absolutely
He is
the
in this
greatest.
movie. He is inspired by, in the trivia, Ziggy Stardust and Mae West. And it's apt and perfect. And he's incredible.
I'm gonna say there was some
David Bowie.
yeah,
Ziggy
definitely. Yeah, the
Stardust.
Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, okay.
Some Jim Carrey Riddler in there with his stick work, his cane work.
Because he comes to have fun. He doesn't care how shitty the movie is. He's like, I'm just gonna have a good time.
You know
y'all.
what my favorite part of that character is? So by the time you get to this movie, again, very simple movie, made way more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Zeus, who's in this movie for one scene, has an alter ego. He can't just be Zeus. He's pretending to be this other guy who works for Zeus, but he's actually Zeus, which is a totally unnecessary step. Because he gives that up so quickly. It's just who's Zeus? Oh, it's me.
It's a joke. I was kidding. And also, this is how bad the movie is. I was paying the most attention during the Michael Sheen scene because it's Michael Sheen. So I was focused. I did not realize what was happening when everyone showed up. Did he betray them? Is he on the bad guy side?
Is he an agent of chaos?
Yeah, is he just this is fun, what a delightful, crazy thing that's happening. I could not tell where he was going and what his
Lauren, to be
motivation
fair,
was.
I think it's all of those things.
It could be all those things. But he was delightful. I don't care.
No, he's great.
If that had been the movie, if it had been Crazy Clockwork Orange, just mind-boggling, but he's there, I'd be on board.
That's the only scene with other characters in it, too.
Yeah. Yes, because they don't care about this world.
Do computers know if you're good guys and bad guys and change the color of your clothing and plane accordingly? Because at the end, they escape on a white plane. It would be so much better for them if they were to somehow make it red or orange or whatever the other evil color was.
That happened in the first one, right? Yeah.
So it just knows that you're a good guy or a bad guy?
You know what I think the idea was in the first one was things that were controlled by the master control program were red.
Okay.
But then Clue was red in the first one. I'm thinking about it too hard.
Maybe it was stuff sort of... Never mind.
Because it also seems like something maybe a user can
it's
figure out how to
kinda
override.
The idea of a video game where they're different colors.
Yeah.
the one-
But I mean,
certain that's, yeah.
but then they still could have gotten... into the red plane, but I think it was, I don't know.
There is a moment in the first one where they get into, like, our heroes get into a red plane, and then as they're driving it away, it turns blue.
I mean, let's be entirely honest. It really is just.
Or was that in this one? Wait.
It was this one, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But let's be entirely honest. It really is just so we can keep track of who our heroes are in this bananas world.
Yeah. But I guess it could kind of make sense if it's like user/ISO controlled. But then it seemed like there were plenty of people in the world who were in white or blue or whatever who were not. Because we've established that there should be 3 people in the movie.
Orange sort of felt like the guards and like the army and like the militaristic side of the control.
So it could have been non-control group.
Yeah, like the normal civilians in the world that aren't important to us apparently.
Okay.
Could be white.
I'm gonna let it go.
The authoritarian government is orange.
But I'm not going to let it go when Clue gestures to another pilot when there's no way they can see each other from their planes.
They're computer programs. They just know, right?
Well, then why do they need to telegraph it for us?
How about when guns get jammed?
I love how...
How the guns get jammed?
God damn it.
If Clue somehow can control the world and jam the gun, yeah, that makes sense, but we don't address that.
I love how the big MacGuffin of the movie is Flynn's user disc, or his disc.
Uh-huh.
And there's a moment when he has his back to someone and it literally gets ripped from his person.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, when they're protecting his disc and Cora's trying to shove Sam into the portal so they could go to the real world, she keeps turning her back to the camera so we know as the viewers that she has the disc, but she keeps exposing her back to Clue. Like, it's so easy for him to just grab the disc.
It's a really weird place
and they're walking really slowly toward the portal.
It's a weird place to keep the most important thing to you.
Yeah, that's true.
There are a couple of scenes where they're in peril and they take forever to get out of that scene, and you're like, hurry up, move!
A thing I noticed this time too is all three of our heroes take turns being competent and incompetent in a way that like doesn't make any sense. Like the movie can't decide whether Sam is a liability or if he's awesome. And then like Cora is the competent badass out of all of them, but like there's a couple times where she runs in and decides to be a badass and immediately gets injured and she becomes a liability. And then like Kevin, who's supposed to, you were right, like, who's supposed to be able to alter things is, like, just, I don't know, he doesn't do anything. Like, it's just weird. Like, they're all very poorly defined in what they're able to do and not do.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, guys, Cora's an ISO that Kevin has been hiding.
It's a shocking spoiler.
Yeah.
No one sees it coming.
Oh, another thing that I really liked was, at one point, Jeff Bridges, our Jeff Bridges, hippies Jeff Bridges, goes up to one of the programs and goes to reprogram it and he fails and he just bops it on the head.
Yeah, that was great.
The percussive maintenance
I actually
thing.
thought that was great. That was fun.
That was silly.
It was very silly.
Yeah.
But fun, like I agree.
Yeah.
If we have that movie, I have a good time.
But how good of a programmer is he, guys, if that's what he does?
If his avatar can just form a coup and commit genocide, yeah, he's clearly not a very good programmer.
This might have to do with more with my not paying attention to anything else, but what was the necklace that the Sun Kid, the Sam, was wearing at the end?
That was like the disc, like
yeah.
Oh, got turned
the
into
disc
the
that
necklace?
the grid was on is a teeny tiny mini disc, and so he was just keeping it with him to protect that world that is now decimated. No, not decimated.
It's not decimated.
100% decimated. Isn't that what happened at the end when Sam and Cora escape through the portal and he reabsorbs Clue, and then there's
It doesn't blow up everything. It just blows up.
It looked like everything.
No,
it's like the ocean was still there, but it looked like he reset the world and we're back to creation.
I think it just blew up all of Clue's stuff that was on it's a ridiculous name, the Sea of... Do you remember what it was called? No. Michael Sheen says it, and it's like a real groan-worthy moment. The Sea of... I don't remember. It was like Sea of and then a computer name. But I think that's what it was. I think it just blew up all like Clue's people. Because we don't see it like decimating the city.
It wasn't like... But it didn't look like there were structures like off in the distance. Like it destroyed that building and...
Well,
like,
the structures would have been on the other side of the camera, right?
But like there was stuff off in the distance where the...
Well, there was like the portal, and then there's like the ocean, and then that's where the on the other side of that is where the city.
Well, if they were setting up a series of movies, they probably wouldn't want to destroy everything.
Okay.
So, I'll use that as the logic.
There's like a TV show that was a sequel to the series
Uprising was a
too.
prequel.
It was a prequel? Mm-hmm. Oh, never mind. Yeah,
Bruce
so
Bucksnell
maybe
was involved. And
Really?
I saw. Yeah, it was real short-lived and interesting.
Naturally.
But then, okay, so he Pulse destroys, just through the sea of stupidity, destroys all his people. There were only like 4 or 5 Clue soldiers following after him. We've established that back on mainland, there are thousands of soldiers, all programs that he has repurposed and reprogrammed to be his, willing soldiers that he's going to bring into our world and
I'm
destroy
just taking
us all.
all of them with him to the portal. That's the
Where?
whole point. He's bringing them to the portal so that they're not there because of the budget, but
Okay, so
which is why he gives this
budget.
big dictator speech to no one because
that was back on the
he had a
mainland.
bunch of ships headed.
He had a bunch of
that
ships.
way, right?
And that was all back on the mainland.
And they were headed to the portal, and that's what blows up the ships, right? Like those are the things that were hanging in the air over the sea.
Okay, so they were all on that ship.
Oh my god, this
Sea
movie,
of Simulation. That's what it was called.
Fuck you.
oh my god,
So they were
this
all
movie is
on these
worse.
ships.
I didn't think it could get
They
worse.
go in,
It's Clue.
get his disc so they can't open the portal, steal one of the orange planes that turns white, and they fly out from that big ship that we're saying is on the sea, still going that way.
Yeah.
So those are thousands of programs.
I'm just gonna go with
all
yes,
still-
Lauren. I understand what you're saying. No, it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
okay,
Yes, you cornered me. Fine, but yes.
Because in theory, most of the
Whoa.
population has been
Are
repurposed.
you happy?
No!
Then we're not happy because we had to watch 2 hours of this movie.
Sound like you had to watch 3 with Tron.
And I'm mad it's leaving me with questions that I want answered. Like, what happens to those people? Damn it! They've sucked me in.
I kind of feel like World War Z, where I guess it didn't do as well as that was supposed to be a series too. And even though I liked the first one, okay, I really want to see another movie just to see what else happens in that world. I kind of feel like that with this one too. I think I didn't really like the movie, but what happens? What happens next?
Maybe in 20 years, this movie will have like a cult following. They can do a special edition where they fix Clue, and then they can,
Not release it to the public and then have a third one.
yeah.
Like, there could have been something like regular citizens on the shore, like, looking out and seeing the thing and, like, suddenly realizing, oh my gosh, I think they got rid of our, dictator. And, like, the relief that could show on their faces if we
to
actually
disagree with
cared
you.
about these people. Which we don't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Fair enough.
These people who are now still trapped in a hellscape on the disc where their lives are meaningless because they're just cubes and zeros.
Well, they can just, like, have fun and stuff. They can just ride their bikes around for fun.
They do look
Until
fun.
the disc breaks down.
Turn off the light thing so it's not a death race and just have fun riding.
You
those
can, like,
bikes.
make art with the light thing. Art that'll last for 67 seconds because that's
Yeah.
exactly as long as
Exactly.
the shows.
Any other big points before we move on?
The reunion of Sam and Kevin would have been sweet if he didn't insist on saying things like, I got your page. Like, that just ruined the moment for me. Like, shut up. No, you didn't. This is stupid. No one pages.
I didn't like the reveal of Clue. Well, I didn't like how coy they were being with how it is. I felt, and maybe I was wrong, because I think I mentioned it to you, Lauren, and you disagreed, but like, okay, we know it's Jeff Bridges, stop being so coy with everything, and then like, oh, he takes his helmet off and it's Jeff Bridges. Like, yeah, thanks.
That's right. I admit. I was like, well, he's clearly someone, but I wasn't sure.
Okay.
At that moment.
Just, I don't know, because I think there was another moment of coyness later, which I was okay with, because it did, I don't know, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying.
The reveal of Tron. Because that was
Yeah.
not handled very well.
No, it wasn't. All right, guys. Bobby and Laura, let's discuss gender politics in the movie we just watched.
I got the eye of the tiger.
Susan B. Anthony was on the dollar coin for a reason.
Stop objectifying me.
Gloria Steinem.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Equal rights amendment was never ratified.
Rosie the Riveter.
Oh my god, Bobby, shut up.
Rosie the Robot.
Who's gonna make me my sandwich?
My body, my choice.
Blatant. Susan B. Anthony was taken off the dollar for a reason.
Beyonce. Okay, so do you have anything to say?
I think that this movie has a female problem.
in that there aren't very many of them.
Well, that is the main problem. And the second problem is that their main female character is not very interesting and not very well developed as a character.
I'm going to throw out
she is
this
also
idea.
a damsel a lot of times. they try so hard to have her be someone who is a badass, and then it fails. Like, they seriously undercut it every time. She runs in, as you were saying earlier, their motivations are not clear cut. So they have her run in and save the day, and then boom, she doesn't think it through, and so it fails, and then she needs saving. She needs rescuing after that.
But this is an honest question, and I can't believe I'm like arguing this point on the side of this movie not being very good, but like, is she any less interesting of a character than any of the other characters in the movie, or is she any more of a helpless damsel than any of the other characters in the movie?
Okay. First off, we're talking about a male character and a female character. Mm-hmm. And if you're talking about Sam's character, Garrett Hedlund, he is not a very interesting character either, but
I would argue Cora's more interesting than Sam.
We spend more time with him, so we're privy to more, and it's almost like, oh, he's the one who gets to save the day in the end.
Does he though? I don't think he does.
I don't think he gets saved.
I think I don't even think the movie pretends he does, except for the moment where he gets to raise the disc in the classic Tron pose. But I think, like, even up until that final battle, like, Cora's doing all the work. You know? She's the one, she's literally protecting Sam and, like, holding him back and shoving him into the portal. Like, Cora's the one who's doing all the action. And I do agree that it's ridiculous how quickly she's taken out a lot of the time and how often they have to save her. But I don't know that that's a damsel problem as much as it is like a consistent problem with all the characters.
No, you were going to say as a female character, she.
But like Sam has to be rescued at one point. Kevin, you know.
I don't think to the extent that she does, because she dies and they have to go and fix her thing. They don't die.
It's hard.
Yeah, I want to put in. She just got injured. I don't think she died.
No, they did, because they had to clear her DNA. They had to take her DNA so they can remove it, and so she can.
There was a problem.
Yeah, there was like a corrupt code.
Wait, because she got killed.
Well, one could. I shouldn't be confused about it, but one could argue then if all the others.
Okay, are you guys just misogynistic? Okay.
Yeah, Trump 2016. Although by the time this airs, it will hopefully.
Oh my god, guys!
But I don't know. Like,
anyway,
I can agree with you, and I can see where you're saying she does get damseled.
Okay, well,
Excuse me. Let me finish my sentence, okay?
I was gonna say, let's just leave Cora in the middle ground. Like, you're gonna have your opinion about it, but I'm not gonna concede to your fact. You're not gonna concede to mine.
Where are we gonna go if we're not gonna talk about Cora?
We're gonna talk about the other, like, female characters.
There's no point. Yes. Yeah. Any point you're gonna make is correct about the other female characters.
That they're like wearing tight ass latex jumpsuits, and you see.
Sorry. Continue.
And they're there just for guys to oogle them. I mean, that's what they're there for. They don't do anything else. Different.
Are we talking about specifically the one other female in the movie?
There are three of them at the beginning.
Before walking up to clothe.
There are four of them?
I think it's three. Yeah, I think it's four.
There are four, but it does not matter.
4 sirens walking up to him, and then one of them returns, and then she ends up being a bad character. But
I agree.
Anyway, she's not they're just not interesting. You have Michael Sheen playing this really cool role, and you have all these other people. Where the hell are the females?
Let's be fair. Michael Sheen is the only interesting character in the movie.
And he's kind of gender bending.
He defies sex.
Yeah.
My friend,
not good enough.
A friend of mine, because I went Michael Sheen playing a role that was clearly originally meant for David Bowie. My friend added, or Tilda Swinton. That's it. Could have gone either way on that one. But, no, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if there are so few characters in this movie. If you're going to go for the 5 women at the beginning who are clearly meant to evoke
4.
4 women.
Somewhere between 3 and 5.
Not good enough. That's where I'm in on that. It's not good enough. Tron Legacy. Disney, get your head out of your asses and do better.
Shame.
Shame.
But
do better, Disney. Do better.
I mean, I would argue that there needs to be more characters in this movie. Not like characters as in like with an important plot role, but this world needs to be more inhabited.
All right.
But wait, no, can I make an honest point about Korra though? Okay, we can argue back and forth about whether or not she's damseled, and I'm not saying she isn't made up in a way that she's definitely like attractive and perhaps sexualized, but she's sexualized in a very sort of different way, I think. Like she's wearing tight clothing, but not different from like the kind of tight clothing that Sam's wearing. Like her tits aren't hanging out. She doesn't, like, she and Sam don't...
Mistake.
Right?
but, like, and then she and Sam don't, like, even if there's a weird dynamic between them, they don't get together or anything. And I think that's interesting. I don't know. I think there's a trap that they could have fallen in with Korra in that regard, and they don't do that.
Sure. Ish. I'm not going to give you 100% on that one, because I think that they probably cut a scene where they kiss, because it seemed like there was a scene where, like, at the end where she disappears outside.
But why wouldn't... I don't think so, because why wouldn't they just keep a scene in where they kiss? Like, that seems
maybe
like...
because it was, like, clocked in too long, or it was awkward, or it didn't test well. I mean, there are lots of
But that seems
reasons.
like a thing that studios would want. It's like a beat that needs to be hit. And it's kind of surprising when the movie doesn't hit that beat.
But if it doesn't test well with screeners and...
But I'm also asking, like, why wouldn't that moment test well? Like, I don't know.
Too much tongue.
Headland's bad kisser. No way to fix it.
Like, I'm even thinking to Captain America Civil War, which is a movie I like a lot. And there's a beat where Captain America smooches with his love interest, who I wasn't even aware was a love interest until the moment they smooched. And, like, that was...
Agent Carter just before she dies?
It's her granddaughter.
Spoiler alert.
In South.
That is a good point. I didn't realize that was a thing.
And Tron Legacy, it feels like, I mean, because it's kind of telegraphed in the roles that they're playing, you assume going into it, like, oh, Sam and Korra are going to be a thing, they're going to kiss at the end, and then they don't.
Yeah, and that part is good, but it feels like they're still written for that part. Whether or not they kiss or not, I still think that they're written for those roles. Because she isn't established enough as a character to have her as a
And I'm going to argue
role.
that literally no one in this movie is established as a character. In this movie that I am defending. I think Korra, perhaps next to Jeff Bridges, gets the most characterization in this movie.
Okay,
I
so
think you feel bad for her because she's an ISO and she's the only one left. I think that's...
There we go. That's more of a backstory than Sam gets.
I don't think so. I think it's about equal. I mean...
Anyway, what we've established is this movie.
Okay,
this
we're
movie
just gonna
fixed gender
argue
equality,
again.
and we can move on.
All right, guys. Lauren, let's do IDOBM IMDb trivia. TM.
Okay. Please feel free to edit out gaps in this as I sort of gather my thoughts.
Okay.
Going back to the very top, we were discussing how much this movie made. Let's see how much this shit made. It cost $170 million to produce, and box office was $400 million for US.
So it made money.
So they did.
How much did it make foreign? Does it say?
You can make me look at more.
Because I mean, like China's a
If it's
big
not,
market.
Yeah. And this feels like this will be right up China's alley.
By the way, really quick, one of my favorite running gags is referencing other podcasts, which you just did. Douglas movies.
Yeah.
Good
We
job.
can't stand on our own.
This is the DLM IDOBM IMDb trivia TM, brought to you by DLM. Not really.
Thanks, Bobby, for making her look sad.
No, we all want to know. Financial information.
It didn't make enough for them to make another movie.
I don't care enough.
And by the way, I'm not editing this out.
I see. 400 was total.
Oh,
Okay, if we look at the breakdown, it made 170 domestic, it made then about like 225 international, so only 400,000 total.
That's less good.
That's not Bafo BO.
That's not Buffalo.
So that's why we did not garner that sequel.
Okay.
Shooting the film lasted only 64 days. Post-production, due to the heavy special effects. Do you remember there were special effects in the movie?
Wait, what?
Do you recall that?
I didn't. They were seamless.
Post-production required 68 weeks.
Wow.
Let's see. Early drafts of the script did not feature the Alan Bradley character, but apparently there was such an outcry for him.
People chanting
I don't
Box
know.
Lightner in the streets.
And they're like, what are you saying? What's the...
It feels like he did show up and just make up his parts on the shooting day.
He's like, I'll say I got a page. Like, Bruce, we're way beyond pages. Like, no, I got a page right here.
The wardrobe budget alone for the movie was $13 million. One of the custom suits alone for the racers cost $60,000.
What?
Just for the suits.
What? That's absurd.
And they were, I want to give them credit for this, but it sounds like such a freaking headache that each suit had actual embedded
That's
lighting
why it
strips
costs
on
so
them.
much?
Yeah.
This is
that's
part of
absurd.
it. They
Oh,
were
come
powered-
on.
I mean, this is not the only reason. This is just a fact of it and why they were so problematic. They all had these embedded light strips, so it was a practical effect. They didn't want to have to do post-production on that. But it had to be powered by batteries that lasted for only about 12 minutes. So they had to switch them on right before the take and then turn them off immediately after the take was done.
And they had to be relied
And
on to actually do it.
had to change them every time. And the circuitries inside the suits were really fragile, so the actors couldn't,
Sweat.
sit and do stuff around. They had to do Morticia Addams style, just recline against upright boards to
poor
rest in
bastards.
between scenes.
I like this movie. I'm defending this movie. I still enjoy watching this movie. That is the most absurd thing I've heard out of any movie we've done.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it sounded like a nightmare. And then that's just, you can't sit down in this thing, let alone all the crazy stunts that they have to do. And apparently there were lots of like breakdowns and doing stuff. The suits, most of the actors sustained electric shocks and burns from the illuminating fabric used in the costumes. Olivia Wilde, particularly, whose costume left a large amount of her bare skin exposed, is the way they say that, even though I think it was just the shoulder. But whatever, yeah. people
Yeah, that makes my whole
tortured
argument
others.
sound really
Yeah.
bad.
I wish there'd been more of her skin exposed, if you know what I mean.
Michael Sheen, who we all agree is the greatest and the best in this and in all things. He's a very big fan of the original Tron, apparently. And so when he was originally offered the Zeus, he was really excited and immediately wanted to accept. But his agents had to talk him down because they didn't want Disney to find out that he was so excited and then pay him much
I'll pay
less.
you to be in the movie. Oh, shoot, I shouldn't
I
say
was
that.
Damn it,
watching
Michael.
I was watching like behind the scenes stuff today, and they interview Michael Sheen sitting in front of Flynn Arcade, and he genuinely seems very excited to be.
He's the cutest and the best. And life is a joy for him, it seems. Neither Olivia Wilde nor Garrett Hedlund were born when the original Tron was first released. Put that in your pipe. I was just barely born, so it's a little unfair on them.
What year?
82.
82.
okay.
It just barely came out. And looking through trivia, I again do wish I'd seen the original because there were apparently tons of teeny little winks to the original that did not do anything or need to be there. But if you were apparently
Like what?
a crazy super fan, I'll tell you.
The first one had light bikes. This one also had light bikes.
What? I didn't
Yeah.
notice that. You're right.
Do you really want to know them all? Okay. When they're taking away the orange now white plane thing, Flynn tells Cora that it's all on the wrists, which is a thing he said in the original movie when someone was questioning him about like his
That's
gameplay.
right.
Like, how are you so good, Flynn? It's all on the wrists. At one point, I mentioned too, made me sad when Garrett Hedlund is breaking into NCOM in the beginning and he opens up the big security door and I thought that's a big door and then Garrett says that's a big door. Apparently that happened in the original when
God.
Kevin Flynn said that in comment of an NCOM door at that time.
It's a classic line.
It is a classic line. It's like, I got a bad feeling about this.
Hey, is Incom supposed to be like an Enron indictment thing?
Ooh, I don't know, it's from 82, so.
So it is.
Yeah. The metallic polyhedron that was placed on the fireplace in Kevin's apartment is a thing. There's lots of stuff like that. That's just teeny little, like, Do you remember Tron? That's the thing from Tron.
I forgot to say this. I was watching behind the scenes stuff, and they were interviewing the two writers, and you know the extended prologue they give at the beginning where I mean in the bedroom where he like runs through what's happened, and you think it's what happened in the original Tron, and it's not. It's what happened between the fucking movies.
Yeah.
Their rationale was like, well, you know, a lot of the target audience will not have watched Tron, so we kind of wanted to like create a new setting so people don't feel lost. And I feel like, yeah, that's interesting.
And that scene was terrible. Like, if they think they're setting up expositional stuff, they are not. You're not describing anything that makes sense. So, just lots of stuff. So many things in here were references to things going wrong. Like, Disney brought in Michael Arndt and John Lasseter to do major rewrites during reshoots when the early cut of the film proved lackluster.
They did rewrites on this movie?
They did rewrites.
Oh, no.
I'm sure they did tons of rewrites, but like John Lasseter.
No, but I mean, John
in,
Lasseter and Michael Arndt did rewrites on it?
Still fail.
Wow. Yeah, boy.
They came up with like all the Tron references, like say it's all on the wrist.
Probably, huh? Nerds.
And then just, of the best ones, Hidden Mickey, the security camera Sam Flynn takes out the Incom building. Looks like Mickey, so it might not be intentionally a Hidden Mickey.
There was a Hidden Mickey in the original one.
Was
so,
there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yet another wink to the original movie.
All right.
And that's been
IDOBM. Oh, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Okay, so Bobby still liked the movie?
I love
Final
this movie.
verdicts.
It's really, I had it on today, and I'm like, I still very much enjoy watching this movie.
Laura, I bet I know where you're going to land.
Oh god, this movie is so bad. Don't watch it.
It keeps us holding our breaths, man. I thought you were going to go the other way.
I know.
Lauren?
Was this a movie?
Is this even a movie?
Not for me.
So we watched it in 2 installments. We watched it an hour of it Thursday, and then an hour last night. The first hour dragged so long. The second hour we watched yesterday, it was actually, I'm not going to lie, I was multitasking a bit, but it wasn't that bad. It went by at a pretty good clip, so I'm going to say that I kind of liked it, at least that part. And the chase and other scenes, the action scenes were fun. I like that.
Yeah.
It was so absurd, and the plot is just not great.
So 2 huge thumbs up
Yeah,
from Sam.
2 ringing endorsements. Okay, guys. Let's talk about the movie we wish we'd seen.
Ugh, this movie is crap. I could write a better movie in my sleep.
And now, IDOBM presents the movie we wish we'd seen.
Which is, of course, we take an aspect of this movie and we try to see a parallel movie, a sequel, prequel, etc. You know the drill. Laura, let's start with you.
Well, I think I would like to see, going back to the first movie, I want to see an actual good sequel to the first movie. I want to see something that makes sense from the first movie. I don't think that we get enough Jeff Bridges in this movie. I think that we need to just have, we need to follow him. Garrett Hedlund can go the hell away because he's terrible. And anyway, I want to follow him on to maybe, I don't know, follow him on programming, finding this, maybe that's the sequel, finding it, and I don't know, or him and Bruce Boxleitner. I don't know, but something that's more interesting. I guess basically what I'm saying is that anything would be better than this.
How about you, Lauren?
Wreck-It Ralph. Now, I want to give the movie credit for trying. I agree. It did look very pretty and the action was neat. And so I think a few changes could make this a better movie. Obviously, the script needs to be much stronger, but they made choices that were just bananas and that wasn't necessary and you didn't explain it well. Just tweak a few things, you would have a more cohesive story. And then give us stronger plot points and send us actually on a quest in the world that is interesting to watch. Pick up Michael Sheen, have him hang out with you for a while, and then he can double cross you in the end. That's fine, but keep this guy around because he is
why would you
magic.
introduce a character and then like literally
Who
2
is
minutes
magical.
after say like, oh yeah, he double crossed you? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Any movie you do that, that's so shitty. Like, yeah.
And I think all you have to do is set up a quest in the world and let us meet some of the crazy characters in this world and take away some of the nonsense exposition, and you could have an interesting movie.
As for me, I would like to, well, I mean, obviously we're in the digital realm. I want to see hardcore pornography with Cora because she's a hottie.
Of course.
And
Hentai, right?
What's that?
Hentai, right?
Yeah, the more tentacles, the better.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about porn. No, but I kind of feel like Clue was a bad guy because they said he was a bad guy and he made people do these fights. I kind of want to, it would have been nice to see a progression of this world, especially because so much, isn't it? I don't. Did they say the conversion and how much time passes in the real world versus how much time passes in the digital world?
Seconds, but not really.
But I mean, so it's been a long time in this digital world.
Many cycles.
Many 67 second cycle. I don't know, whatever. So it would have been nice to see it more of an evolution of the world. It would have been nice to see maybe, especially with these introduction of these ISOs, some sort of subjugation. Even if all but one of them were killed, make Clue really like this fascist leader. That would have been something. It would have been interesting. And like you said, a real quest that makes sense and we understand. Things like that. And the thing I mentioned earlier about the AI, that would have been fun to explore. What makes users better than the programs is, like I said, the unpredictability. And to have AI that maybe was predictable. I don't know, something like that.
So what I'm hearing from you is this world is just really dense and there's just a lot to kind of like sink your teeth into, there's a lot of, it's like a really great text. You can just keep coming back to it and it can mean something different to you each time.
I'm saying that a good writer absolutely could make something of this. It has a lot of potential. I am saying that. I will agree with that.
It's very close to being a Black Mirror episode, but again, very,
I was
very
just
far.
thinking about that today.
Very, very far.
Now, how about you, Bobby? You like the movie, but what would you think?
I do. Thinking about what Laura said, I think this movie has the first movie looming over it a little too large. And I think if our hero was someone who wasn't so closely tied to Kevin Flynn, that would be interesting. Like if some other person found their way to the grid on their own and then partway through the journey, after we've figured out what the grid is through his eyes, we meet Tron, we meet Flynn, we figure out who Clue is. Like that might be an interesting thing. But I think the biggest thing that the movie needed to fix was to explain what exactly happens when Clue gets to the other side of the portal and explain exactly why ISOs are so important to our science and our medicine and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I think.
Also, it would have been nice if we would have gone back in time to when the coup happened, and so Clue had his group of cronies that were that initiated this thing, and then so his second in command at one point would say, "Cue Clue's coup crew."
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are In Defense of Bad Movies, and we will see you next month.
Yeah, that's how it could have happened. But what about this way? I'm doing Clue the movie now.
Oh, I see.
Because I've said Clue too many times, and it's not a name.
Speaking of Clue the movie, let's talk about the segment that I alluded to earlier. Things that need no defense, just things that we're into right now.
Well, now you've touched on Clue the movie, which is perfect. And stands
Oh,
up.
God. I love
Do you want to start, Lauren? I'll let you do something other than Clue the movie. If
That's
you want
very
to
sweet
do
of
two.
you. What can I? There's so much I'm into right now. There's lots of stuff. I'm really into my crushes on Rachel Bloom from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend fame.
Well, everyone should watch
And
that show. It's so good.
Watch her shows, watch her YouTube videos, because all her just songs she writes on her own are amazing. The OC dance has been in my head all week after seeing it on Meltdown for the first time. She's banana pants and awesome, and I love her. My crush on her, and then on the British actor Rory Kinnear, has been a pretty big deal lately. Rory Kinnear, of course, if you've seen Black Mirror, is the pig-fucking prime minister, but he's also an
Pretty
amazing, British actor. Like he's like a healthily bodied, bald British man that like becomes super sexy when you see him do Hamlet at the National Theatre, or watch his Penny Dreadful is a TV show that was on Showtime. It's all on Netflix now. Goes in and out. It's pretty fun if you're into like British Victorian drama. Like we get to see Dracula and Frankenstein and all that. But for his role in it is just amazing. He's like the human core of the show, and he's the best. So watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and watch some of Penny Dreadful while you're distracted.
Cool. How about you, Bobby?
So I've been bad lately about doing my kind of themed recommendations. So here we go. So I think the music in this movie is really great. Daft Punk's score is great. It's an all-timer for me. I recently saw a movie that also had a great score.
Good segue.
Today I watched Swiss Army Man, and I loved the shit out of it. It's quirky, it's weird, you have to kind of buy into the premise, but it was a lot more heartfelt and smart than I gave it credit for. Not too smart. I mean, it has more fart jokes than I've ever seen in a movie before, but I cannot overstate how much I love that movie. So,
oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a series of graphic novels that I'm reading called Lock and Key by Joe Hill, does the writing, and Gabriel Rodriguez does the art for it. And it's about this family that moves into this house, and there's all these weird keys that do cool things, like make you turn into a ghost, or I shouldn't say that one, because it's a kind of a spoiler thing.
Cut it out.
Yeah, no, not that one. The one I was about to say.
Oh, okay.
And just like
I heard good things about that.
yeah, it's really good. The art is really good, and the writing is fantastic. Joe Hill is a good writer in his own right, a novelist, and I don't want to say too much about it because there's a lot of just fun horror / fantasy things that happen in it, and I kind of am hit and miss with comics. Like sometimes it's hard to get into them, but I'm working my way. I'm about to start the third volume, and I'm very much enjoying it. So there's that. Laura.
Well, Lauren was alluding to earlier, but Black Mirror, I hadn't watched any of the episodes at all. And then season 3 came out, last week or 2 weeks ago, I think. And so I started watching, the first episode of season 3, Nosedive. And then I was jumping around, and then I watched, episode 3, Shut Up and Dance, which wasn't that great. And then 4, San Junipero was, oh my god, such a great episode. That episode still stuck with me right now. And then I binge watched almost all of the other episodes from the seasons. I think I have a couple more left, but I'm kind of saving those because it's really interesting. It's a really great show. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's on Netflix.
Who's in number 4? Who are the actors?
Gugu and Mothra, who's like my crush, my girl crush.
Gugu and Mothra?
Guma Mbathara.
Mothra. Yeah. She's in a lot of things. And then this other girl who's in *Halt and Catch Fire*, the AMC show with Lee Pace. Mackenzie Davis. Yeah, I think so. Mackenzie Davis, right? I think that's her name.
I know her name.
So
cool.
Anyway,
I wasn't sure how I'd be with them being not as British this season, but it's still pretty good, I guess. American actors, all right, we'll allow it because it's still incredible.
Cool. I'll start with plugs. On December 11th, we have the Upperclassmen Christmas show. It's going to be this really ambitious thing. I can't go too much into it, but it's kind of like a murder mystery.
What?
It's, yeah.
What?
I'm not going to go...
You can't murder Chris. You can cut that out.
Chris Martin?
Yeah.
No, they would love to, though.
You can't have him come on as a mime and then have, like, Tom kill him in a fit of passion, like, oh no, we gotta hide the body now.
Well, damn. So that is December 11th, 7 p.m. at the Long Beach Playhouse. You can get tickets from a member if you know anyone, or just get them online. It's $5 either way, or you can get them at the door for still a reasonable price of $10. Also, you can go to our YouTube page, I think it's called Upperclassmen Comedy. Might just be Upperclassmen. I don't know. It's the one with funny videos, some of which are directed and written by yours truly. The most recent one we put up is called Green Face, which I'm proud of. Anyone else have anything to plug?
I'm just going to tell you, $10 seems like a bargain compared to the amount of entertainment that one gets in a night at your shows. I feel like I'd be willing to pay even more than that, so I'd be a fool not to accept this offer.
We'll take more than that. We're offering for $5, but if you do want to give us more, we will absolutely take it. I appreciate that.
Only if I guess to get your G-string.
My G-string?
Yeah.
Just start wearing a G-string instead of going commando. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Anyone want to plug stuff for In Defense of Bad Movies?
IDOBM podcast. Shit.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Hang on. Let me do that again. IDOBM podcast on Twitter and IDOBMpodcast.com and look us up on Facebook. And Sam's phone number for our customer service line is...
You can also check out In Defense of Bad Movies at gmail.com, which brings me to our first ever letter segment. We got an email. Don't get too excited. It's about a mini-sode.
And it's from my friend. So.
Yeah. From Mike Johnston writes, I am not offended by Three's Company, but I wasn't allowed to watch it growing up because it was too risque. Also, Logo runs it all the time. Apparently just having a character that pretends to be gay is enough to qualify for our sorry network. So, because of the minisodes, I guess this is still kind of plug, we do themes like old times where we talk about TV theme songs. And it's silly and fun, and we usually sing, and it's awful.
Hey,
singing.
Keep it to the minisodes, okay?
Sorry. So, I read this letter partially to tell people, hey, if you write us a letter, we will almost guaranteed read it on the podcast.
If you're so insecure that you need to hear your name.
Exactly.
No, we're just kidding. We totally support it. Please write us. We love it.
We would love
you won't believe how delighted we get. It's like presents on Christmas. Like, what? Someone wrote us? Ooh.
And I think, now that I think about it, I think I read Matt Cabe's letter on once, too. So, our second ever letter segment. Hi, Matt.
Hi, come back.
You have to sign our table.
Yeah, and you have to defend another movie like Dune.
No.
Dune 2.
No.
Anything you want.
Any other last words anyone has to say?
Silence.
Thank God the election's over, right?
Oh my god.
Not for us. We're living in the past.
We're kind of infinite time loop.
I just hope... I think it'll be okay, but Lauren is legitimately concerned. It might not be decided by the time this drops.
I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
You know me when I go on.
Butterflies in my stomach.
You know me when I
You should not.
do anything.
You should have that looked at, Laura. It is not safe.
That just means she's in love.
You got to stop eating caterpillars.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
And good night or good day.
See you in a few cycles.
Bye.